Where do you fit it in, Ranell? Do you pop it in the warm-up? Well, I mean, where does some of this stuff go that you've been talking about?
So in terms of the strength training, what will happen is that obviously the strength bands, the medicine ball work, and the bungee kind of resisted kind of work will all go within the session itself. But my athletes are very accustomed to doing homework. And what I do is depending on the athlete's schedule. Some of the field and court-based athletes have ridiculous schedules, which it'll be nice to talk to in Elise's question about loading for young athletes and how much volume of training that they should be doing. But we do microdosing. So for example, you might get an athlete to do, just say we want them to get a stronger glute function. These are our youth athletes. You might get them to do a series of smallly loaded glute bridges or glute walking bridges or glute walkouts for hamstring robustness and strength through the back chain. And you might do that as like a 5-minute workout that they do at night before they go to bed. Or you might say to them, do you know what I mean, when do you want to put the 5 minutes? And they might say, okay, well, I might do it when I get home before I start my homework or something. There's 5 minutes and it has to be at the same time every second day. Or usually I'll have glute bridges one day, core development the next day. Because what we're finding in our youth is that their posture is terrible. All the coaches on here can, will know that their posture is terrible because everything that we do now is down. They're on the keyboard, they're playing with PlayStations. When we went to school, everything was teacher focused. So we were always up, we were always looking forward at the board. Whereas now it's student focused. And so there's more activities where everyone's down and they're looking at what they're doing. So that breeds poor posture. And then they're doing the same when they come home as well. And sitting all day, that causes us problems as well in the pelvic function, which we can talk about later. But postural integrity. So I'll do a lot of core. So I might do glute work on one night, core work on the next night. And the core work is designed to give them the postural integrity that we need through transition and top speed. And also strengthen that, because if you think about the young athletes, the arm drive, we talk about a summation of forces running through the body. So that arm drive, that force and that strength that's been created has to get to the feet, but it has to travel through the torso to get there. And so what you'll find is some athletes will almost look like a washing machine running down the track. And that's because they don't have any postural integrity. They've got too much axial rotation going through the spine. So they'll get different core work, which will be anti-rotational work for their core training. You'll get athletes that are just hunched, that will have a lot of back positioning. So when I talk about core training, I'm talking about shoulder girdle, pelvic girdle, and everything in between, back, sides, and front, everything. And I'll look at the athlete and I'll say, what needs to strengthen to give them the posture that I need to get them down the track, or to add that sum of forces that's coming from the arm drive into the feet to propel them again horizontally down the track. So glutes, every day has to be the same. Kids need a schedule, and it needs to be something that's on the same day every day of the week to keep them in that little routine. And if they know this is my 5 minutes of do you know what I mean, homework, then, I'm going to do it at the same time. And you can tell as a coach when the kids aren't doing it. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm at the point where I can just say, okay, you're not coaching with me anymore. You don't do your homework. Most people are not that fortunate.
So, Ranell,